Okay, then I'm going to call to order the April 25th, 2024 Norton Select Board meeting. All 5 members are present. Meg Arts is present online. The rest of us are here in person. And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Here. Over here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming, everyone. So we're going to start off with, we had one appointment of Sharon Rice to the Cultural Council. How many spots do we have left available on the Cultural Council after this?
I think a lot, yeah, it's a lot,
It's a
yeah.
big committee,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and it's the only committee where you can only stay so long and you have to get off.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions or comments or objections to Sharon's appointment? Nope. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to appoint Sharon Rice to the Cultural Council.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Oh, I gotta do a roll call. Thanks, Meg. Meg, you there?
Hello, Meg.
I don't see her. Well, there are 9 participants.
Is there a great number that you don't recognize,
Let
maybe?
me see.
Oh, this was going to be a fast one, too.
Yeah, I'll tell Sharon. Meg's on as a guest.
You don't have the ability to change each person, Mike?
I don't.
Oh.
Did Meg use her link, or did you just call her number?
Probably did the same thing I did it.
I think she was traveling, so she probably called.
I went in and it wasn't as a panelist.
If we can't get her online, we can call her.
She, Charlene.
Okay.
So if she's not on, we don't need a roll call for this one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
All right, so Meg, we're still working on getting Meg on, but we can.
I'm here. I'm here.
There she is. All right. Okay. We have a motion and a second to appoint Sharon Rice to the Cultural Council, and because you're online, we have to do a roll call vote. Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right. Next up are approval of minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments or changes, edits, or anything like that to the minutes that we were presented? No? Okay, then I will take a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve the minutes from March 28th, 2024, and April 11th, 2024, and the April 11th, 2024 joint meeting. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right. Roll call vote. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I too am a yes.
I should have said that the minutes were really well done for the joint meeting. That was very well done.
And very detailed. Very good. All right, and we will move on to licenses and permits. So we have one license renewal for the New England Rodeo, so I will turn it over to the clerk.
So it's a common vic license for New England Rodeo, 185 North Washington Street, common vic, live entertainment, 4/25/23.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? All right, then I will entertain a motion to approve the CV and live entertainment renewal licenses for New England Rodeo.
So moved.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. Okay. All right, moving right along, we have some one-day licenses to approve, and some, I think there's a permit application here. So anyway, we have a vote to approve the one-day beer and wine license to Elias De Silva for a private event at 185 North Washington Street. Does anybody have any questions or concerns?
So this is a rodeo, right? This is?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And then this is the event, the Festa Rodeo. This looks like fun. Is everybody going?
May 26th?
Picking me up?
All right, so, all right, I will take a motion to approve the one-day license.
So moved. Second.
Okay, Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I too am a yes. Next up, we have a vote to approve special events parking permit for Ruscio Brothers LLC, 253 Mansfield Avenue. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I assume this is probably something that's done every year.
It is.
Yeah, for concerts and stuff at the Xfinity Center. All right, if there's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the special events parking permit for Ruscio Brothers LLC, 60 parking spaces at 253 Mansfield Ave from June 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All right, Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I too am a yes. Next up, we have a vote to approve amended license for John and Dorothy Freeman, DBA Freeman's Garage, removing Dorothy A. Freeman as a co-owner on the Class 2 license. Does anybody have any questions or concerns? Do we have any additional information on this that we need to discuss? Seems pretty straightforward to me. Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended license of John M. Freeman and Dorothy A. Freeman, DBA Freeman's Garage, removing Dorothy A. Freeman as a co-owner on the Class 2 and Class 3 licenses. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I too am a yes. All right, next up, a one-day beer and wine license for Mark Hasselbarth for a private event at Wheaton College. Does anybody have any questions or comments, concerns? All right. Who wants to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the one-day beer and wine license for Mark Hasselbarth for a private event at the Chase Dining Hall, Wheaton College, 26 East Main Street, Northern Mass, from 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. on May 13th, 2024.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I too am a yes. All right, now that's it for licenses and permits this evening.
Mr. Chairman.
I just have a question about a vote you just took on my license.
Yeah, sure.
We're taking my wife off and putting my son Paul on. You didn't articulate that, but is that all, has that been done? I mean, is that part of the vote?
It was
not, we didn't know that.
Just
Okay.
taking your wife off was the vote.
Probably.
Yeah, the request was to replace her.
I thought I did see that in the,
I saw it in the packet.
email, yeah.
And we included the letter request for that and revised business certificate from the town clerk.
Let's see, do you need documentation for that? to vote
As
on?
long as the town clerk.
As long as the town clerk has it.
Okay, so why don't
I've
we,
got a copy of the certificate if you need it. Okay.
All right, so why don't we do it, why don't we re-vote on that, and we'll change the,
Well, I'm sorry.
that's all right, I was just gonna say, we'll change the motion to add, Pete, is it Paul? To add Paul to the license pending the, or subject to the clerk's office having the paperwork.
Subject to what? I didn't
The
hear.
clerk's
The
office.
clerk's office having the paperwork.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, well, I've got a copy here. I think I included a copy, but
Okay,
whatever, sure.
Alright.
That'd be fine.
Thank you.
who wants to tackle that one?
So, do we do an amended motion, or just do a new motion? A separate motion?
I would do a new motion, do the whole thing, removing and adding.
Okay. All right.
Who wants it? So, okay, so I will make a motion to, let's see, where is it?
Number 4.
Okay, to remove Dorothy A. Freeman as co-owner of the Class 2 and Class 3 licenses for Freeman's Garage, and add Paul Freeman, is there an initial? Paul. Okay. Paul Freeman as co-owner on the Class 2 and Class 3 licenses.
Okay.
Subject to the clerk's office.
Subject to the clerk's office having the correct paperwork.
Second.
Which I,
All right. So we have a motion and a second from Alec. We'll take another vote. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
I forgot your name.
I don't know.
Steve? Meg?
Yes.
And I too are a yes. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Appreciate it. All right. So next up, we have announcements.
Okay. It is, let's see, the first one and most important one is to recognize Megan. This is her last
Our
meeting.
last select board meeting, unless she gets written in.
Just want to thank Meg for all her efforts on the board. She did a phenomenal job, and we're greatly going to miss her. Absolutely.
Agreed. Thank you very much, Meg.
My only regret is I didn't have more
Thank you,
time.
guys.
Yeah, are you gonna miss us?
I am.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that smile is way too big for that to be true.
Hold on, you're under oath.
And I'll still see you around town.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that this is this select board job, for lack of a better term, requires a lot of time. And it's especially difficult for folks who, who work full-time and have families and have all the other millions of things that are going on. And I think we talked about this one night, that we're a board that all of us have that. So it's and I know Meg has had a lot of stuff going on with her career and has made every effort to continue on the select board throughout. Lots of travel out of state, and I know that's been difficult. So we appreciate the service and the spirit of volunteerism that you've shown by being a part of the select board. So very much appreciated.
Well, thank you. I will cheer you guys on.
And Meg, I'll still see you around the town.
Yes. Thank you, Megan. I wish I had more time with you. A year wasn't enough.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Wow. All right, so next up, thank you again, Meg. So next up is a notice of public hearing for the operating budget. So Alex, go ahead. I'm sorry, I stepped on you.
Yep, no worries. There was a public hearing Monday, this upcoming Monday, April 29th at 7:15 via remote participation on the proposed FY25 operating budget. This is by the FinCom. And let's see, where can I get the Zoom link? Do I have to read the Zoom link, or they can get that right on?
I was thinking, we post this?
It's posted.
It's posted.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
So it's posted on the town website for those that want to participate. Public welcome to participate. That's public hearing on the proposed FY25 operating budget as submitted by the town manager this Monday, April 29, 2024, at 7:15 PM via remote participation.
Well, that's the last meeting on the budget before the town meeting, right? Unless we have things coming.
It'll
What's
be
the
the
discussion?
last, maybe on the 1% budget,
Okay.
we'll talk.
I was gonna say, are you gonna present all three at this one?
No, it'll just be the 1%.
Okay. So we have to have a separate one for the other ones? Public hearing?
I don't know if we'd have to have a public hearing again. That's a good question. I'll have to check with Lauren on that, but I don't think.
I thought Lauren said at the joint meeting that we, don't quote me on this, but that we would not have to because the town meeting serves as the public hearing.
Yeah, I thought so too. If we done the election first, then we would have a public meeting for it.
Right, I think that's what she said, but maybe we should just verify that, because I know we got a lot of moving
That
parts on
sounds
this.
right.
So,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
So next announcement is the Norton Cleanup Day 2024. That's Saturday, May 4th. And check-in is 9 to 10 a.m. at Everett Leonard Park. Cleanup is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And there's a post-event cookout starting at 12:30 at Bog Iron Brewing, 33 West Main. It's free to anyone who helps clean up. And may the 4th be with us.
Yes.
Jen informed me today that 102 people have already signed up.
Oh, awesome.
That's excellent.
That's great.
Hopefully the weather holds out.
They've done a great job on that.
Yep,
Wonderful.
very good.
Next announcement is there is a over 21 pickup kickball league, sponsored by Norton Park and Rec. Fridays 6:30 to 8 p.m. starting May 17th through July 26th. There is no game on July 4th. It's at Everett Leonard Park and it's $20 for 10 weeks, $25 for non-residents. Any more information you can get on Norton Park and Rec. I'm sure to sign up, right? Then we have some last minute entries. The Norton Veterans Council Memorial Day Parade is on Monday, May 27th, 2024 at 10 a.m. In the event of inclement weather, the ceremony will be held in Henry Yale Gym. The new parade route, a minor change is it's starting at the high school as opposed to the Yale parking lot. And we are starting out the service at the emergency entrance in between Advanced Dental and the house and carrying on the route and back to the door down it. Pine, the common pine, no, Pine, the common, Trent Memorial, Yelp.
It's long.
It's a little bit long.
So all the same number of stops?
There will be, yeah.
Okay.
There will be an appropriate cadence, as there were significant breaks, because some people thought it was a sprint.
Yeah, one thing that's the-
So that, yeah, that's Monday, May 27th, at 10 a.m. And another last minute announcement, the Town of Norton Water and Sewer Department is having a public meeting, public outreach program for the Elm Street Sewer Extension and Water Main Improvements Project. This is meeting number 2. It will be May 8th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. at here, Woodlands Meadows Community Room, 120 West Main Street. And that's the Elm Street Sewer Extension and Water Main Improvement Public Outreach, May 8th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alec.
Sure.
All right. Okay, moving on to new business. We're going to skip ahead to item number 3 because we have some guests here for that. So, so item number 3 is review, discuss, and vote annual town meeting articles, including but not limited to the acceptance of Leonard Street North as a public way and taking of all easements necessary therefore. So we have Jeff O'Neill from Condyne online. So Jeff, I'll turn it over to you to give us the background and information on this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you can see the screen attached. It should be uploading right now.
Yep, we got it.
Okay, good. So we're before you folks tonight seeking what's termed as an order of layout for the street acceptance from the select board for completion of the Leonard Street North roadway as we turn them up in phase 2 of the park. This is one of the steps that we have to go through in order to allow this to be on a potential town meeting warrant. Recently, we're in front of the planning board where they issued their non-binding recommendation to endorse the roadway, and also at its October 24th meeting, they approved the completion of the definitive subdivision plan and voted to move towards acceptance of the street and release of the bond. So that was back in October. So the roadway takes pretty much the same precedent and concept as Norton Commerce Center, where the individual lot owners own up to the roadway, and then the roadway is ultimately owned by the town. So to date, we've improved all the culverts in Leonard Street, installed the traffic signal, force main, pump station, connected the water loop, and invested in total between phase 1 and phase 2 about $10 million related to the infrastructure here, all in an effort to bring and attract companies to the town of Norton and create real estate taxes, jobs, and everything else. So to date, a little bit of example of what we've done. So we've much brought in about $1.3 million in building permits, $400,000 in water and sewer connection fees related to Blue Star Park, and have increased the real estate values from raw land when this project was in its inception up to about $75 million today and only growing. So in addition to that, we updated the fire communication system to the town. We've created excise taxes, EV charging stations, but most importantly, we've created jobs and brought some great companies to the town of Norton. So what's in front of you right now is the as-built plan, and this is the Mylar showing the roadway. So it's approximately about 2,500 feet in total length, with all its utilities and infrastructures in place. And I believe this Mylar is in front of you folks as well. In addition, we will be changing the monument signs that are in place today. So we'll be adding the word north to them, only to make sure that there isn't a separation between names of Leonard Street Main and proper versus Leonard Street North. So you can see that's happening right here. So that's the process we're going through. There's, if I can show you about 2 seconds, there's a quick little video if folks haven't been up there. So if you could just see the attached, can you see that starting to play right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
And this is the roadway that's been constructed going up Leonard Street North. You can see the infrastructure, all the lighting, including the detention basins, drainage, and all underground easements that are in place. So as you come up, you first hit the Yale building, which is located on the left. So this is in place. Yale has occupied and has a good amount of all of its employees there in process. And then you can look down as the road continues where the truck goes. You can see building 12, which is in its completion mode and is in the process of bringing in a new tenant to the town of Norton. So that's why we're here tonight, to seek your approval for what's termed again as an order of layout for the street acceptance of Leonard Street North.
Okay, Article 14, okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I guess the mic, Mr. Chair, was this built at DOT specs?
Yes.
Okay.
And water and sewer have been out there inspecting everything, and highway inspecting everything.
If it's built to state spec, I just need a time frame. It's as good as we're gonna get, that's for sure.
Denise, did you have a question?
I was just gonna ask, where exactly does the town responsibility end? I know you said it in words, but could you show us a picture, like where the town responsibility ends and those businesses have responsibility for clearing the roadways or whatever it is that might be needed?
So if we look at this one, this is the outside format, you can see. So pretty much, this is Leonard Street, this is the already public street that's down here, this is the corner.
Yeah.
And as you take a left, you proceed up to Leonard, that's going all the way up to here. So pretty much snow plowing, any sort of sweeping, everything that's done in the roadway, that's all going along here in this route, all the way through back to the cul-de-sac that's here in this location. Any sort of mowing or catch basin cleaning and things like that would also be included. What's not as part of this is the sewer. So the sewer still remains private, just like it is down in Leonard at Commerce Way in the Norton Commerce Center. So that won't be deeded over until further connections happen in the town in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, great, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
I just want to say, as a point of note, thank you very much for everything you've done over there, Jeff. Everything looks, it looks great. The professional construction crews that you had out there, it makes a big difference because there was some people that weren't so happy that that farm was being transformed. And I think, personally, I feel you guys did an unbelievable job with it.
Thank you, Howard, we appreciate that. And what's most important is that, what we step up and do is we perform, and our reputation is the utmost important that we protect and maintain. So, thank you, we appreciate that vote of confidence.
Yep, you're welcome. It shows. It definitely shows.
Yeah, for my part, it's been professional the whole time. I mean, I was on the planning board when this first started, so, yeah, I think it's been very well done.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so, and this was agreed to by the planning board, correct? Unanimously, I saw that in there. And you said it is Article 14. Okay. All right. Anybody want to make a motion to recommend Article 14?
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 14 as written.
Second.
Okay. We will do a roll call vote. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
And I, too, am a yes. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you, we appreciate it. Look forward to continuing working together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Bye.
All right, so do you want to continue with town meeting articles?
Sure.
And maybe we can just go through those, okay?
All right. So the FinCom last night, and I don't know if do you have in your packets the water and sewer budgets?
Not the
I didn't see that.
What's that? No? I can share it on the screen.
Is this it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
We have kind of a line item.
Yeah. Here, because I know the guy next to me complains that it's too small on my screen.
If it's too small, then just read it out.
Okay. So, last night, the water and sewer superintendent and assistant water and sewer superintendent attended the finance committee meeting and presented the water and sewer enterprise budget. And the first one up on the screen is the water enterprise budget. And Personnel services, $1,277,099. Interfund transfers, $575,934. Charges and expenditures, $1,318,000. And debt and interest, $1,740,223. Their salaries had an increase, total of about $16,000, a little less than that. And the interfund transfers, as you probably know, are based on, so like health insurance, they pay for anyone that's in the water department. On health insurance, they pay fully for that. And then they pay a percentage based on what the water budget is as a percentage of the overall town budget of the treasurer collector, the town accountant, myself, my assistant. And that's how we come up with the $575,934. And then, of course, their debt for water projects around town, $1,740,223, for a total of $4,911,256.
How many employees do we have?
So there's their list of employees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. There's 13 positions. There's 12 that are full right now. There's one that's vacant.
And is this for water and sewer, or just?
That's just water.
Just water, okay. So they don't exchange employees or anything like that?
Some of them do.
Okay.
So, for example, the water, the superintendent and the assistant superintendent, they're split.
Split, okay, gotcha. All right, does anybody have any other questions? All right, then we'll take a motion to approve the water enterprise budget. Sorry, we're not approving the water enterprise budget. To recommend the Article 4 for the town meeting.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I am also a yes.
And the next is the sewer budget. So in the sewer budget, the personnel services, $460,359. That's about a $3,000 increase over last year. Interfund transfers, $153,547. It's about a $16,000 decrease from last year. Charges and expenditures, $1,417,251. And the bulk of that is the treatment plant cost, which is the payment to MFN, which is $1,038,101. And then debt service, $397,440, for a total budget of $2,428,597.
And Mr. Mike, what did you say was the bulk of the other charges and expenditures?
To the MFN, Mansfield, Foxborough, Norton Sewer District
All right,
for
thank you, sorry.
treatment costs.
All right, any other questions? Okay,
So a motion to recommend Article 5 as written.
Second.
okay, Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Okay, and I too am a yes. All right,
In the operating budget, you have where the Finance Committee is to date. They've approved all operating budgets except the school 1% budget, which is being presented Monday night.
okay.
And then that's Article 6. Article 7, capital improvements appropriation. The Finance Committee recommends no action. If we're going to add money to capital, we'll do it in the fall.
Okay. Do we vote to take no action? Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to vote to recommend no action on Article 7?
So moved.
Yeah, second.
All right, Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Okay, and I too am a yes. All right,
All right. Next is capital, which is Article 8. And, capital plan. And you don't have a capital plan, do you?
I was gonna say, doesn't Article 8 usually have a list of what the
Yeah.
capital is for?
yeah.
Yep, so. I thought you'd have the capital plan. Let me see if I can find it.
So just a timing
Yeah,
question while you're doing that.
yeah.
So our next scheduled meeting for the select board would be May 9th, I believe. I see Jen over there nodding. May 9th. So do we think at this point we're going to need to have another meeting in there somewhere? I'm just thinking, like, for example, for this, if we wanted to put this off to discuss it at the quote-unquote next meeting, would that be on the 9th, or should we talk about having an interim meeting in there somewhere? Or, you know, are we cutting it too close to town meeting? So I'm just gonna throw that out.
Would the 9th be too late? 'Cause,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because the town meeting's 13th.
yeah, so it'd be the following Monday after our Thursday meeting.
So you should probably have one next week. I hate to say that.
You said that with a lot of enthusiasm.
You're proud of you, right?
Would the 9th be too late?
I feel like it's cutting it a little close, right? If there's any sort of outstanding items from a meeting next week, we could, you know, we could,
It'd be a lot more relaxed if you do it
if you
next
do
week.
it that, yeah.
I don't like the way this is headed.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to have a meeting, that would be the 2nd. So, with agreement from the board.
I'll just check it out. I can do it.
Don't worry, Meg, you're still off the hook. Actually, let's do a meeting on, no, never mind.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It have to be tomorrow.
So, all right, why don't we, with the agreement of the board, to go ahead and plan for a meeting on
May 2nd.
May 2nd, okay? All right. And then anything we don't touch on tonight, like, I'd rather have a chance to review the capital items rather than, you know, have to kind of just throw it together now.
Okay.
So we have some time, so we'll do that on the 2nd.
All right.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Article 9. So Article 9 is water and sewer again. So this was approved by the Finance Committee. what the Water and Sewer Department is looking to do is, they have funds remaining from a previous article that were borrowed, but still are available. The project came in under what they thought it would, and this was, these were funds that were appropriated on October 19th, 2023, and June 27th, 2020. This was for wells 5 and 6. And so what they're looking to do now is to repurpose this money for work. They're doing a water main project on South Worcester Street, East Hodges Street, a water main replacement. And also to be used for any engineering, investigation, design, construction for treatment facility upgrades and PFAS treatment and other contaminant remediation up into, treatment for PFAS is part of one of the things they were talking about last night. So they're looking to repurpose that money and use it for those purposes.
Well, PFAS isn't going away. So,
Yeah, they mentioned last night, they had one well, I think it was well number 3 on Newland Street, that was 1 part above the current levels, the old levels. Now they're going to almost 0, so it's gonna be tough.
okay. Go ahead.
What is that dollar amount, Mike?
Yep, so, $605,476.24 from the October 19th, 2023 appropriation, and $178,000 to pay cost on the water main replace. The total is $605,476.24, and $178,984 is going to be used on the South Worcester Street water project, and $426,492.24 would be used for our treatment facility upgrades and PFAS removal.
How effective is this going to be with the PFAS removal?
Well, they're looking at different options. I think now would be more the engineering and the design of what they need to do.
Are they gaining on it at all? I know it was almost not more than 6 months ago that the requirements were considered unattainable.
That came up at the finance committee last night, are you ever going to be able to get to 0? And, as Frank said, well, with a lot of money and a lot of work, that would be something we'd be looking to do.
My only question would be, is it going to cost, is the number 5 million, 10 million, 20 million? Is this 605,000
Just to study, you're looking at, at least 5 million. I think one of the area towns just did some PFAS upgrades. I think it was around that amount.
Yeah.
So until they get in there, and remember, a lot of these communities that were doing these upgrades were doing it based on the previous guidelines. So they may have to go back in and upgrade their systems again.
Is the pushback on the state, is that getting any legs?
No. Well, now it's federal. The federal government's lowering the standards down. And the ironic thing, I don't know if we've talked about it here before, Frank always brings it up, is that the companies that make PFAS, they're still allowed to use PFAS. They also make all the equipment that's needed to take it out of the drinking water. So they're getting it on both ends.
So why isn't the East Hodges water main part of their normal operating budget as part of their normal maintenance plan?
So they're replacing that water main. Anytime they do a water main replacement, they go out and borrow, and the payments come out of the water retained earnings.
Okay.
So the ratepayers basically pay that service.
Right.
All right, anybody have any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to recommend Article 9.
Motion to recommend Article 9 is written.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
Okay, and I am also a yes.
All right.
All right,
Article 10. Share my screen on that.
So it looks like the FinCom hasn't voted on 10 yet?
No, but I'll just go over, just so as you noticed, there is a meeting here. There was a meeting last night at the library, and there was a good showing of people from the neighborhood there. So, you know from the presentation that was given by Weston and Sampson before, so really I'll show one of the slides that's the most recent, talking about the project. So as you know, the project is to put a new water main down Elm Street from East Main to Reservoir. And that cost of that is $2 million to $2.4 million, and that's paid completely by the ratepayers. All the ratepayers in town, it's from their retained earnings, they'll pay for that. So that leaves the cost of the sewer work, which is $5.3 to $6 million. And to pay for that, there's a $3.5 million grant that we're getting. The betterments that would be assessed to the 64 homeowners along the way would range from, depending on the cost of the project, from $8,600 to $12,000 per home. And that is like on West Main Street, it would be a betterment. It would be, they could pay it all at once if they wanted, or it goes on to their taxes over 20 years for a payment. So based on an interest rate, which we don't know where interest rates are going, but say 5% is what we've generally charged before for betterments. It would be about $600 to $900 per home a year. And that leaves the 1.8 to 2.5 million. And that would be a share that would be attached to the development of Reed and Barton. I know Paul has DiGiuseppe has a call with a proposed developer tomorrow. And of course, the discussion came up that, well, if that isn't developed, then the town's on the hook for that, which we would have to pay for that, and there would be a lien on that property. But the hope is that by putting sewer in there, it's going to make the property more attractive. Someone will come in and finally tear that down and clean it up. So you can look at it two ways. You can look at it as some people have that, well, you're just doing this because you want the Reed and Barton site cleaned up, and that's why you put the sewer down here. Or you can look at it another way, as was with the West Main Street sewer. You had this property that needed sewer, so it was a catalyst to help fund that project. Same thing here, by having the Reed and Barton site, it enabled us to get a $3.5 million economic development grant. And so that is the catalyst to bring sewer down this street, yes, but it also reduces the cost and makes it a viable project. You know, some of the residents that were there were saying, well, it benefits the whole town to have Reed and Barton torn down. I mean, it does, but I mean, the sewer is going by their property. Generally, your property is going to increase in value if you have a sewer main that you can tie into. You may have a septic system now that is operating fine. You never know when that thing's going to fail. And I know someone on, what's Talbot Drive, just had a septic system put in, it cost them $40,000 to put in that system. So, the FinCom, last night, they didn't have a full board, so they wanted to wait until they have a full board to make a decision on this.
Okay.
Mike, you mentioned something about the town being on the hook for it if the sewer doesn't go in. Why did you feel that?
Because the remaining share of the cost is 1.8 to 2.5 million. So we're getting the grant for 3.5. The betterments are gonna pay anywhere from, I think, like $750,000, $800,000. So there's still 1.8 to 2.5 that's gonna have to be paid on that loan over the years. So until someone comes in to develop that site, we gotta pay that. And-
So we would put a lien on the property, so when somebody comes in
Right.
and purchases the property, they would pay us
Yeah.
for whatever we've paid for the lien.
And
Or
we,
for the-
yeah, and we did meet with a developer last week and mentioned the cost and for them, for the benefit, it's worth it.
Is the developer still interested?
The woman that we've been dealing with from Devco, Paul's talking to her tomorrow. We talked to a different developer the other day because we told Devco, you gotta move forward, we're not just gonna sit here, so we're looking at other developers too. If you're not gonna move forward, we'll get somebody else to start developing.
Well, Defco was interested back, what, 2 years ago?
Right.
2.5 years ago.
They went to town meeting, they had it rezoned.
Yeah.
And so the $600 per taxpayer, what was that for?
That is the betterment. Are you talking about the?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking, I'm not sure what it's for.
The 8.6 to the 12,000, which would be about $600 to $900 a year. That's for those 64 homes.
That have to tie in?
That, yeah.
Okay.
They don't have to tie in right away. That's a betterment they pay. When they do tie in, they have to pay the cost to hire a contractor to tie them in. But there are no sewer tie-in fees because they're paying a betterment. So,
Gotcha, so they're getting the $15,000 bill tie-in at the beginning, whatever it is.
Right.
They're paying it basically slowly.
But then they have to pay a contractor to actually tie it in, which could be another $15,000.
no, they're not, I think that's what you're referring to. To tie in, they gotta pay a contractor about, say, whatever, would be $15,000.
Okay.
This
Gotcha.
is just a fee to, that's just.
There's no tie-in fee, whereas in the past, you heard people say they had to come up with money all at
Right.
once to tie in, because they had to pay a tie-in fee before they could tie in. But with the betterment, you don't have to pay a tie-in fee.
Okay.
So you pay that fee, that 12, 15 grand or whatever it is, but then you still have to pay the contractor.
To
do
do
the actual work.
The digging.
Yeah. And there's a time period, right, time limit?
There is, you're supposed to tie in after no longer than 7 years from the time the project is finished. Or if you sell your property, you'd have to tie in at that time, or if your septic system fails, you have to tie in. So it's, if your septic system fails, if you sell the property, or 7 years or more, you have to tie in.
So that home,
Sorry, and we extended that, I want to say about a year ago or so, from, it was 5 years.
It
I
was
think.
2, then we changed it to 5, and then we changed it to 7, when the sewer was going down Plain Street.
Right.
I do remember the extension.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, my concern would be for that owner that just spent $40,000 on his septic system, I mean, that, then get hit with another 12 grand plus, potential override plus, he'll never be able to sell that property.
Well, it doesn't go that far anyway, right? They would be able to tie in anyway? from that street?
If you're required to.
No, it wasn't on Elm Street though.
No, that was on Talbot Street, right?
Talbot
You said
Street.
Talbot Street, yeah. Go ahead.
My concern is, I mean, I think it's absolutely, any upgraded infrastructure, you know, needs to be done. I think the biggest part of it is the timing. It's rough timing with everything else going on. But this does need to be done, and we have a $3.5 million grant on the table. It's just tough timing. Is there, for those homeowners, is there possibility of any other kind of, you know, relief, that betterment, in some way, shape, or form? I mean, I know it's paying the debt, I know, you know, I get all that, but if there's something that we can do, maybe extend it like you guys did before, is that something that could be a possibility?
I think some of the things that came up were just trying to see if there could be, the question was, can water and sewer waive the mandate to tie in within 7 years? And that, as one of the commissioners said, that's not our law, that's a town bylaw. So I told them I would reach out to Kip Copeland Page and say, what can we do in a case like that where it's a town bylaw? Would we have to have a special article to exempt these people from having to tie in? But as far as the betterment, I don't know what could be done it's got to be paid. I mean, if someone didn't pay, it would be like not paying their taxes. If you meet certain requirements, you can defer your taxes, and then when the home sells, it comes right off. But that's something they'd have to look at with the assessors. It's all based on age and income guidelines.
We have another developer at the table.
So
Is there leverage in negotiations with that?
It's always better to have more
Mhm.
options. And I remember from the time when we extended the tie-in time limit, you know, the 7 years, the concern from water and sewer was the inability to budget out over a longer period of time because they're not collecting any of the water and sewer for that time. So the longer you strip, and I'm not saying that's yes or no, but that was just the concern that they said this was that, you know, as if you go out to 10 years or even longer, you're out of balance with what you're collecting and what the service you're providing. So
It's just one of the bad timing with everything else going on. It's definitely, it needs to be done, especially with $3.5 million on the table.
yeah.
You know, we got to take it. Is there additional leverage with the more developers that come to the table for it? Depending on what they're going to do, they're going to have tax incentives, I'm sure.
Just that property alone, something has to be done with it. And so any opportunity to do something with it, I think it would be, we can't let that pass.
I just put myself in the shoes of one of the people that live there.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with it, and they're going to be forced to pay that.
Yeah, yeah.
And are there any other potential grants that we could get on top of the $3.5 million?
Paul, that was asked, and Paul said, I'm not sure we can get that on top of this, but he would look.
Maybe something for the homeowners directly. There's got to be something.
Mr. Chairman?
And the board.
Can I speak on this?
Yeah, come on up, Zach. Sorry, you have to go to the podium.
Who's this guy?
So, this came up, it's come up a couple times at FinCom, it came up last night as well, and we also, members of the FinCom received a letter from the residents that are there, and they're concerned, exactly what you guys were talking about, is, you know, they're living there, this project is being done to clean up this property, attempt to clean up this property, and now they're being forced to, you know, not only a betterment of $12,000, And they may have just put it in the septic system, you don't know that, there's X amount of residents. And then, within 7 years, they're gonna pay an excavator to tear up the yard, connect, there's probably another 20 grand, construction costs these days. And they're upset, they say, what Mike said, if it's an improvement to improve the whole town, why are they being punished, all of a sudden hit over the head with a $10,000 bill, whatever it may be. And I just don't know, it would be a back and forth, but the way I left it, at least in my position at the FinCom was, as it stands, I can't support it, and I won't support it, unless there's some relief given to the residents. It's not their fault, I understand the whole situation, but we gotta find some way to give the residents some relief. Because exactly what Alex said is right, now we're talking about, they're gonna feel the impact of the 3 projects again next year on their taxes. Possible override on their taxes, and now we're gonna hit them over the head with another $10,000 bill that they're gonna stop paying right away, whatever it winds up to be a month. So, I would support it if we find some way, and I know it's needed, to give those residents some relief, and they have sent a letter with those concerns to the members of the FinCom. So that's where I would stand on it, for your consideration.
Thanks, Zach, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna suggest that we get a copy of that letter.
That'd be helpful.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah.
And then, let's also give FinCom some time to review it, since they're meeting last night, and also take a vote on it, and then we'll revisit this, and then it'll give us all some time too to think about it. It's not an easy issue, obviously, so we want to make sure that we're thinking about it,
Every angle.
Yeah. Okay, sound good, Mike? Sound good, everybody?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Next article is Article 11, reauthorization of revolving funds, and the Finance Committee recommended this article, and just some changes from before. The Council on Aging revolving fund was $10,000, this is increased to $20,000, and also the Highway Department requested an increase in their revolving fund for the recycling that they do down there. So we have the Wendell Jackson property, which is the home on 123 that we own, is the revolving fund with a max spending of $60,000 a year. The forestry revolving fund, that's used by the Conservation Commission to maintain the town forests, $30,000 a year maximum. Home composting bin distribution program through the Board of Health, they can spend $2,000 a year. The recycling revolving fund, which is good news that it had to be upgraded because people are actually going down and using the recycling center, up to $20,000. And hazardous materials technician revolving fund, $10,000. The Council on Aging fund, $20,000. Stormwater bylaw revolving fund, $100,000, and 79 North Worcester Street, which is Campy, the 3, the maximum of $60,000. I talked to Paul about the stormwater bylaw revolving fund to see if something could start. There's no money in the fund right now, and it was established, I think Keith brought it up, because when we approve subdivisions now, when they build subdivisions, they have to put it in detention areas and detention areas, and eventually we're stuck maintaining those once we accept the roadway. And so if there was some way that the planning board, when they approving these new subdivisions, could tell the developer, okay, but we want you to put $10,000 into our stormwater revolving fund that we can meet, so we can use it to help maintain these detention areas now that we have to maintain, or something, just to get some money started to go in there for those.
How was it funded before?
It's strictly out of the highway budget, so.
So the highway can allocate money to it.
Right now, it's just, whatever they just, the highway has to do the work, so it's just whatever the tax.
So it just costs us whatever it costs us.
Yeah.
All right, so just to be clear, these are spending limits.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, any questions, any further questions on that? All right, I didn't know we had a home composting bin distribution program. I don't know if I want to do that, but I'm just.
I've heard of it, I don't know where the information for it is located, is it under town
Board of
clerk?
Health.
Board of Health,
Board of
okay.
Health.
But I've heard of it.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 11 as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I am also a yes.
I was gonna say we put it to sleep.
Well, I like how we have to say Meg, like, and just wait for God to speak to us.
And from the heavens.
Right.
Where are we? Next,
12.
12, the 5-year recertification program. This is the assessor's request for $13,000 from free cash was approved by the finance committee. So every 5 years, they've got to recertify all the properties. And so this will help. They have money from previous money available to do this. They needed some more. And so,
When you say recertify, they go up. I mean, assessing how much the value
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Anybody want to
I'll make a motion to recommend Article 12 as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. All right.
Next article, FinCom has not taken any
All right.
stance on it yet. And I don't know whether you want to have someone from Traffic Safety Committee, anyone? Oh, there is.
There he is.
Present that what this is when you drive through some of the towns that have adopted this, you may see the signs that say speed limit 25 miles an hour, except otherwise posted or something to that effect. So it sets the speed limit on any roads that aren't posted as 25 miles an hour in town. So, I mean, you can post a 40 mile an hour speed limit on a road or a 35 mile an hour, but if there isn't any speed limit, it would have to be, it would be 25.
And then this goes through the proper channels through DOT to get the approval, and then the board, this board can set.
Yeah.
So if you want, I could have the police chief or someone come.
Yeah, or who's the chair of the Traffic Safety Committee? Is that Bob?
Bob.
Maybe ask Bob if he wants to come in.
I will.
Are you talking about for town meeting? Or for us? Yeah, have him come in here first. Ask him to come in here first. Because this is something that came up before, and it did not pass at town meeting, and yet we continue to have problems with speed limits all over town, and we can't do anything about
Yeah.
it. So to me, it's like, I don't understand what the issue is.
This
It's
will
a
clean
no-brainer.
it.
Yeah.
So we still can't we can't change speed limit 25 on state roadways.
Right, exactly.
And the legal counsel, again, as I understood it, was that 123, that area that we're concerned about is a state roadway.
No, State Highway in Norton is 140, both Taunton Ave and Mansfield Ave, and just West Main Street, not East Main. East Main is actually a town road.
How about that? So East Main is from the Common,
Right.
all the way down to whatever,
Easton.
to Easton. Okay.
123 is East Main Street from downtown Norton to Easton. West Main Street is from the center of town to South Bristol Street and becomes Old Colony Road. And 140 Taunton Avenue from Wheatcourt to Taunton Line, and 140 downtown Norton to the Mansfield Line is Mansfield Ave.
All right, so, yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
All right? Thanks, Peter.
Article 14, street acceptance of London.
Oh, we already did that one, okay.
Article 15 is withdrawal from civil service for the police department. We put it on, we have the ballot question coming up. And just if anyone who's listening, if anyone needs information on the ballot question, we have posted it on the town website. You can go under Norton News and click on it. And I just want to remind everyone that on there you'll see that in the last contract, for example, that the police department, the fire department agreed to, it says that the fire department will leave civil service effective July 1, 2024. And both the NPA and the MPSOA negotiated in their contract to leave civil service. And, civil service has just become an antiquated system. Recently they did a test and then the test got thrown out and they had to do a test again. We call for a list and you're lucky if you get anyone on the list. And then when civil service will have a test and you may not get the results for 6 months while you're waiting to get someone on board. Whereas if we're doing a promotional exam, we can call for it, have a test, we'll have a company come in and do a test, we'll have the results the next day. And so the fire department worked with the union and signed policies and procedures on how they'll do hiring and promotions. And the police chief worked with the police unions to do the same thing on the police side. Anyone that's already in civil service is grandfathered, so they remain in civil service. So it's just any new hires would not be in civil service. The other thing, it allows you to streamline hiring. We talk about diversity, and if you're trying to have a more diverse police force, you can structure a test in hiring so that you can do that. With civil service, you can't. Whoever's on top of the list. And you can structure, we can do our appointments based on how someone does on the test, plus how they have, what experience they have. And we'll have, you'll have a company come in and do interviews with the people, the applicants. And so it's just that's why a lot of times are getting out. And I just want to remind everyone that the unions got a benefit to exit civil service. That was in their contract.
Right. So the contract was negotiated with the understanding that there would be a withdrawal from civil service effective, was it July 1st?
Yeah.
July 1st, 2024, this year. So for them now to say that we do not want to exit, or for anyone to say they don't want to exit civil service, or for the union to say that, then they are not going to give back any of the concessions they made, or that we made on the contract. So,
No, not gonna get.
so sounds like they're trying to double dip to me. So,
And a lot of towns, I know the police chief's on, if he wouldn't mind, Brian, just some of the towns that have gotten out recently.
Yeah, good evening. So Mansfield, Foxborough, Easton, North Attleboro, Plainville, Sharon, Norwood, Walpole. They're just a handful of towns that have recently got out of civil service. Our other bordering towns of Rehoboth and Seekonk have never ever been in civil service.
all right, thanks. Thanks, Chief Clark, appreciate it. All right, I'll take a motion if there's no further discussion.
A motion to recommend Article 15 as written.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, Denise.
Yes.
Alec,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and I am also a yes.
Okay.
All right.
Article 16. So this is an article to use $3,000 from free cash. The Finance Committee voted to recommend 9-1. And this is to be used for the collection and disposal of discarded items that are abandoned on roadways around town, unfortunately. It's $3,000.
Not to belabor anything, but why was there a no vote?
I don't know.
For that.
I don't remember. It might have been, there was some discussion, why don't we just put this into the highway department budget? So maybe that was what that was.
Well, I'll make a motion, unless anybody has anything. I'll make a motion to recommend Article 16 as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I too am a yes. I do have a question on that though, because of my background. What items are they allowed to collect? Do we even know this at this point? But what items are they allowed to lift and pick up? Because in my mind, you know, if somebody puts a refrigerator out front and we have one guy out there trying to load a refrigerator on a truck, that's, you know, he's going to get hurt or somebody's going to get hurt. So I just, you know, I just wonder what procedures are in place.
Yeah, if they have anything heavy to pick up, they're gonna use the backhoe and pick it up and throw it in the truck.
Okay, all right.
Mostly, to be honest with you, it's mattresses. Mattresses and TVs, people just dump it in the woods.
Okay,
It's too bad.
all right, thanks, Mike. All right, Article 17.
Article 17 is to use $12,000 from free cash to have a town household hazardous waste day.
I'm going to recommend Article 17, motion to recommend Article 17 as written.
Second.
Any further discussion? I do. Do we currently do this?
Yes.
We do.
We do this every year, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Wasn't this part of the revolving fund we just looked at?
What's that? No,
That's recycling, the recycling revolving fund?
Yeah.
yeah, that's the highway,
Or there's a hazardous materials technicians revolving.
I think the recycling revolving fund is things that are brought to the highway.
right, so, and the main thing there is getting rid of mattresses too, is the expensive thing now, but at least people bring them to the right spot. So they take in money from people that bring stuff into the recycling center and keep it in this fund, and then that's what they pay out for the disposal of that.
So the household hazardous waste day, let's see, that's asking the citizens to bring what to them, and are they paying to drop it off?
No, they don't pay to drop it off.
Okay.
It's free to the residents. And what's the
Clean Harbors.
hazardous waste?
Clean
Clean
Harbors.
Harbors. Clean Harbors will be there. And before the event happens, the Board of Health will advertise it, and they'll have a list out there of things people can bring and can't bring. It's a good way to get stuff rather than have people dump it in their backyard or down the drain.
Or down the street.
That's why it's free, to encourage everyone to bring this hazardous stuff in.
The right way, yeah.
It's oils and paints and any kind of liquids.
Gotcha.
And it's
What kind of paint?
been for,
Oil.
any kind. Oil,
Latex you can just let dry.
Well, you can let it solidify it and throw it in one of my things. But it's been successful for years. I think, didn't Leon Dumont start this
Yeah.
way back? It's been very successful.
Okay. All right.
All right, sounds good. Anyone want to make a motion?
Already did.
Oh, you did, that's right. And we had a second, and then I started discussion. That's okay. Discussion is over.
It's a long
Do a roll call vote. Denise?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Meg?
Yes.
And I am a yes. By the way, sounds like there's an opportunity for like a used mattress museum or something.
Ah!
No? No, you guys, we'll save that.
Some kind of artwork.
We'll save that for another town meeting.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay.
They wrote somewhere.
Eastern line.
Yeah, right there, yeah, right on the corner. Okay, what are we at, 18?
The Finance Committee hasn't taken any position on these two articles yet. They have asked, these are petition articles submitted by a petitioner. And I know the planning board did, so there's two different articles here. One is a bylaw amendment and one is a zoning bylaw amendment. So the planning board reviews the zoning bylaw amendments, and I think they gave you in your packet.
Yeah.
I know, I have
So we have the notice here from this you're talking about?
Yes.
From the planning board, April 23rd, the Norwood Planning Board unanimously recommended against the proposed amendment to the lighting, this is the lighting bylaw.
Yeah.
Petition by Paris and Constantine. And then I saw another one here.
So that is Articles 19. What she was looking to do is, in the bylaw right now, it says that lighting which is an accessory use to a one or two family residential dwelling is not regulated by the town. And so she wanted that language struck out from the bylaw. And the planning board felt that they did not, we should not be regulating lighting on single-family homes. So they did not recommend that.
Was it a question of enforcement?
Right. So this neighbor is having an issue with
Yeah.
a budding neighbor, and
Yeah. I can see the motivation behind it, but I can also see in trying to enforce that.
Yeah.
and I think the petitioner's here if you want to have.
More here. Yeah. Hi, come on up.
So she could speak on both 18 and 19.
Okay. Yeah, please.
So when I did meet with the planning board, the reason they did strike it out, they said it was more, the lighting bylaw is more for commercial. So they said there was really nothing on the books for residential. They said it's maybe like a wording issue, where instead of striking what I was initially suggested to do, they said maybe trying to come up with another way to have a residential bylaw for single-family homes and multifamily homes. And to me, it doesn't make sense that there's nothing on the books for single-family homes. And it's a matter of maybe wording that they stated to somehow come up with something. So that's what I'm here to try to do. And I get what they're saying. I don't want to put more work on the planning board if this is more for commercial. So I'd like to kind of see how I can revisit this and put something on the books.
All right, so the issue that we have then is that we don't have a residential bylaw with respects to lighting.
Correct. And
So-
there should be.
And so rather than amending this bylaw, which is more for commercial,
Correct.
okay, all right.
Because he said if we struck this out the way they explained it to me the other night at the meeting, if they struck this out, then every single-family homeowner, a multifamily homeowner would have to go in and apply for a lighting permit, I believe, or a special, and I'm sure I'm not getting the terminology correct, and it would put a big burden on them. And I get that. I don't want to, make any more work for anybody, believe me.
Okay, so it sounds like you need to create a new bylaw for the residential piece. So I don't think it could be in this form, because this was amending an existing bylaw, not creating a new one, correct?
Correct.
So it'd be for a future town meeting.
Right. What was the status of the previous article?
Article 18.
Yeah.
So the planning board doesn't review that because it's a bylaw amendment, so it'll be it's a town meeting.
Okay.
What that is, it's a bylaw, and Stella, you correct me if it's a bylaw regulating cameras, so that cameras are not pointing over privacy fences.
Over property lines.
Yeah, over property lines or privacy fences.
Right. More of a privacy, a homeowner shouldn't have to have cameras over a fence, over their border line, to be, videoed for whatever reason anybody wants to video their neighbors. It should be some type of privacy, camera privacy laws.
Well, there's voyeurism. Absolutely voyeurism.
Yeah, so,
As far as lighting.
and the language specifically says that it has to be done with intent to harass, annoy, or threaten
Correct.
the person.
Yeah.
So
Intent
if you had a camera, a trail camera or something like that, and it's, looking over the back corner of your property, that's obviously not intended for that.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. What's that?
A trail camera would be intended for,
Well, it's intended to, so this says cameras will not be permitted to be installed above privacy fences and over a homeowner's property line from any of the side property to videotape or take pictures with the intent to harass, annoy, or threaten
correct.
the person or property without the written consent of the homeowner.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you sound like trail like in the woods looking at animals, that's not.
Right.
Right. It's really supposed to be intended for voyeurism or harassment or something.
Oh, like a ring camera.
Yeah.
Mine, I know, gets across the street.
Right.
Everybody has ring cameras, that's a given, that's not actually physically pointing, you know what I mean,
Right.
It's different, yeah.
That's totally different.
Do we have any, do we have council look at this yet? Review this?
I'll get their opinion on it.
Yeah, yep, that would be good. I would just like to get our council to look at it and see if we're
Absolutely.
running afoul of any other
Right.
laws or anything else out there.
And the state of Massachusetts doesn't have any camera bylaws, I've done my research, they don't. They did have something that was in the works, but that never really, it never got to the vote from what I understand, from the state reps that I've spoken to.
Stella has done well.
Yes, I know.
Good for you.
Yeah. Good education, right?
Yeah, it is. It definitely was, it definitely was.
All right, so just to summarize, so Article 19, looks like we're going to put that aside for now until we can get a new, to look at a bylaw written for residential, right? Which is this, not what this
And
is.
somebody can help me do that, somebody will help me do that.
Yeah. this guy.
Paul's wheelhouse.
Yeah, because it's a zoning bylaw, yes, it would be a planning board, and it would be the town planner, so it would be Paul. And then for Article 18, what we're gonna do is get some advice from council on this. We'll give the board some time to review it. We'll also give, there's always this argument about whether or not FinCom, it's not a financial article.
Right.
But we still, Finance Committee has to give its advice on every article at town meeting. So we could also give them some time to formulate an opinion as well, and we'll go from there.
And I think the finance committee told you at the meeting that if they don't recommend an article, they're not gonna move it.
Correct.
So you would have to get up.
You can move it at town meeting. Yep. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Is that it for articles tonight?
Very good, Tommy.
For the regular town meeting, yep. All right. So now we're going to move to special election? All right.
I gave you the ballot question from town council. And it is interesting, as she said in her email, there is that little explanation on the question that you can vote yes or no, but where there's two questions on the ballot. One, do you want a $4 million override? One, do you want a $6.5 million override? So even if say both pass, and even if the $4 million override got more yes votes than the $6.5 million override, the state law is that if they both pass, the higher one is what votes.
Not the higher amount or the higher number of votes?
The higher amount, dollar amount.
The higher dollar amount.
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood her then. I thought it was the highest number of votes.
No. So if I didn't, I'll send you that section of the law so
Okay.
you can see that. And the other thing that I was interested in, I just read it before I came here, and if I'm reading this right, it actually says you cannot use any of the override, if you have an override for budgets, you cannot use that money the first year, in other words, you can't use that money to put something in your stabilization account for that. Of course, if we have an override and we don't use $1.2 million in free cash, we can use free cash to do our stabilization, but you have to appropriate the override money to budgets.
Operating, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
And
sense.
my question, as I look at the calendar, and we talked about, like, next Monday, the Finance Committee is going to hear a presentation on the school's 1% budget. We haven't even started talking about budgets with a $4 million override, and budgets with a $6.5 million override. And next Monday is the 29th. You have to, the Finance Committee and the school department, myself, and we're gonna have to develop 2 more budgets and have them reviewed by the Finance Committee, and then go to town meeting with 3 budgets. I mean, when it was an A budget and a B budget at town meeting, that wasn't that bad. But you're gonna go to town meeting with an A budget, a B budget, and a C budget. Just my opinion, I think it leads to a lot of confusion, and we could go to town meeting you could schedule a special election tonight. You could schedule a special election for the first Saturday in June. And on May 13th, we could approve the 1% budget, and then you have the election on June 1st, and if the override passes, whether it's a $4 million or $6.5 million, then we come back to town meeting for presentation of a budget with an override.
So you're saying a special town meeting?
What's that? It would just be, town meeting would just be continued. You wouldn't close it out. So we can handle, all the business we have now, we could do a 1% budget, and the moderator could continue the town meeting to another date. And that way, you're not kind of trying to explain to people at town meeting 3 different budgets, and we're running out of time to get them all reviewed by May 13th. I think the warrant with recommendations has to be posted 7 days before that, which...
Right, so I'm concerned, we've got people's attention captured now, right? They're engaged, if they're interested, they want to understand it. I think we owe it to them to do what we proposed to do the last joint meeting, right, which was to present those 3 budgets at town meeting. And I'm not sure why I don't have the 6.5 million override amount already settled, because that was based off of our real dollars of what we needed for the town budget, for both school and town operations. So how do we not have that already set?
Well, we can just gotta go back and look at all those, and then we have the finance committee to review and approve those.
And so we've not been working on the 4 million in the last 2 weeks since we had that meeting? We knew that was the plan for the 3 budgets.
Well, we have, but we've been, I mean, they've been concentrating on reviewing all the 1% right now. Every meeting, their meetings have been going till 10 o'clock at night, just doing that. So they'll now, after, they'll stop moving on to the others. But they've been having long meetings and
So, Steve, go
and
ahead.
they met twice this week.
No, I just, that this whole thing concerns me. I mean, my initial 2 months ago was to get this on the ballot, to not have to, I mean, it's a small cost, I'll give you that, but not to have a special election. So we could have this voted on Saturday, but I got lambasted for that. And then we had to rush it again, and now we're not gonna rush it. So this flip-flopping is not helping anybody. I mean, the people that wanna vote no, the people that wanna vote yes, it's not helping anybody. So I think we need to, like Denise said, we had a plan. I personally think we need to stick to it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Alec, any thoughts?
I agree with Denise and Steve. My opinion, get it done. It's gonna be a long town meeting. Is it gonna be 2 nights? Is it gonna be 3 nights? What do we have for, I understand your point, Mike. I do understand it, but now I think at this point, like you said, run out of time.
Yeah.
You're right, we're kind of locked in, and we've explained the process over and over and over to people to make sure everybody knows exactly when to show up to vote, and where to go, how much it's going to be.
I mean, 6.5 million, we should know what those all are at this point, right? That's exactly what we based the number on, was the actuals. And then the 4 million was just down the back a little bit.
Meg, do you have any thoughts? I don't want to leave you out, I know you're there.
Yeah, no, I agree with what Denise, I agree with what Denise is bringing up. I think it's crazy. It's so, everyone's so, opinionated on this. If you don't just sort of stick with the last thing that was said that we were gonna do, it just reinforces those that are skeptical to begin with, that we're, constantly changing our minds.
Yep.
And I think the one thing too is, although it's difficult to say for sure that there was any kind of consensus between the 3 boards that night, I felt like there was some relative consensus amongst the 3 boards that.
I felt everyone understood the plan.
They understood the plan, right?
I don't think we went out of the room and said, do you want to do this?
Right.
I think we all understood the plan.
We're gonna have to like reset that whole thing. You know what I mean? So it seems like, I think I'm in agreement with everybody as well.
It's a bunch of work.
Yeah.
For Mike and Michelle.
And Jen.
Everybody and
Yeah.
to get it together.
Yeah, I didn't want my comments to overshadow how much work that is, because I know it's a tremendous, ridiculous amount of work. But we told you to do this. I'm just kidding.
All right, so, it sounds like then we're in agreement on that. So for now, we won't be setting a special election then, right? Obviously, we'll do what we kind of said before. Town meeting logistics, Alec just brought this up as well. How many nights are we looking at, that kind of stuff. I thought Jack was gonna try to join us tonight, but it doesn't look like he's on there, I don't think he's on
I was
there.
going to say we have a great moderator, he'll keep us to.
He probably just said he's bailed.
It's efficient enough.
Yeah. Can you set a time limit? You can, right?
Probably.
I know we can't in our meetings. I don't know
He
about
is on here.
Yeah, there he
I
is.
think you can per person.
I'm thinking per person, not overall, but like per person.
There he is.
Here's Jam.
So town meeting is Monday and Wednesday right now.
Okay.
Of the dates reserved.
Okay.
Jack has his hand raised.
Right,
Hi,
Jack,
everybody.
you're on.
Hey, Jack!
Good evening, everyone. How are
Good
you
evening,
tonight?
Jack!
We're good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Nothing I love more than listening to select board while making bread. It's just a combination of two passions.
You want to bring some bread down to the housing authority?
It's not going to be ready until probably this time tomorrow. So if you're still going to be there, sure.
Forget it.
We might.
All right, Jack, so what do you want to tell us about town meeting logistics?
Well, I think the first key piece of information I heard from you guys was that we're still planning to roll ahead with presenting 3 budgets, which means that the 13th is going to be a very, very long night. I think you guys have previously talked about shuffling some of the articles around so that the budget would be first up. So we could try to get that handled in one night, and then start dealing with the other articles once that passes, gets resolved, and then roll those into another night if need be. Is that still?
I think that's accurate. I think that's accurate. I have a question for anybody I have never been through, I don't think, a multi-night town meeting. So we would continue, end of the meeting, let's say it's 11 o'clock and somebody would have to motion to continue? Is that how this would, what's the legal procedure for how this works? Does anybody know?
We have to motion to continue.
So anybody can motion to continue at some point, and then you have a second, and then the town would have to vote on continuing it. Yep, okay. All right, anything else we need to think about? Audio, visual, space, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think right now it's set for the high school auditorium. I think if we're doing all 3 budgets, we're going to move to the gymnasium, which we've done before for some of the larger meetings. As probably overflow space in the auditorium if need be.
I was going to say, could you have both available unless you want overflow?
So,
You go ahead.
Jack, have you reached out to the school department on that yet, or do you want us to do that?
I have not. I kind of wanted to see where things ended up after tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to reach out to Wade and the team to see if they were able to support that.
And so we'd have the meeting in the gym and the overflow would be the auditorium?
I think so. If I recall correctly, that was what was done in
Yep.
2017.
2019.
That's good. In terms of attendance, I don't know, Mike, if you recall rough numbers from the last major town meetings. I think the biggest one we had was 1,100 people. I don't know how many folks we can fit in the gym between bleachers and floor seats.
That would have been the Leonard Street one, right?
That was at the high school?
Yeah, it was at the gym, I think.
Last one I remember was Reed and Barton, and that was shortly after, it was summer of 2019.
Yep, summer 2019.
All right.
So I can start that conversation with the school system. I'll copy you, Kevin, and Mike,
Okay.
just to keep everybody in the loop.
Yep.
I would appreciate if we could have a call with Colton and Page, just to kind of talk through logistics and, treading the legal waters nicely so we understand. I can see a lot of motions and amendments, and it's going to be a procedural nightmare to work through. So the more we can be ready and anticipate what may happen, I think is going to benefit us all.
If you can send me an email, Jack, with some dates and times that you're available, and I can reach out to Lauren. And Lauren will be the attorney that will be at the meeting.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right.
Those are the big ones for me.
Did you?
I do have, if I can ask you a question for something that came up a little while ago.
Yep.
I put it in the Q&A. About the civil service warrant article, I thought we had voted on that in October of '23. I went back and looked at the warrant when I saw that the fire question was on. Is that a different piece, or do we have to vote on it again?
That, we voted on fire, the fire department, to get out of civil service for the fire department then. And
Okay,
this is for police.
got it. Cool, that makes sense. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, we have a question from the crowd.
Podium, okay, no problem. I'm used to it.
We'd like to keep things formal here.
You can thank Missy for this. The logistics are really simple. You're not going to get yourself behind the 8 ball, because when our moderator opens the meeting, he will say if the meeting is extended, he will then mention the day and the place. And so the logistics is on planning, which you've already heard. But it's an easy one, because then people can then line up that second date, if it goes that way.
Thanks, Ralph. And then another question I had, do we need to do anything on the post, like the public posting, about a second night? Have we done that already? Like, do we have to put any kind of notification out there to the public that it could potentially go
We
to
can let them know that.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
And one other thing, Jack, there'll probably more than likely be a ballot vote. We'll have Lucia prepared for that.
There's gonna be more than one.
Yeah. Okay.
Several.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I think that's the way to go. It just takes any ambiguity out of the situation.
Okay. All right, another question from the audience.
I speak for myself, not for the FinCom, but as a member of the FinCom, you want to do 3 budgets here in the next couple of weeks. We haven't even got through the first budget. We're grinding for every penny at the moment. And you've seen some heated conversations, and, it's perfectly okay, but if you want us to pass 3 budgets, and again, speaking for myself, Mike's gonna have to present something, straight line percentage down the board and say, we vote on this budget as presented, because if we get into what's been going on, department by department, position by position, and, I think the school department, the largest position, the largest, budget in the town, that's as I said the other night, I think that's a meeting in itself. And we spent 4 meetings talking about the dog officer, so this is what we kind of are. So if we're gonna pass 3 budgets, I just think, speaking for myself again, it's gonna have to be as presented, and we're not gonna be able, there's not enough time. What do we got, 2 meetings, 3 meetings before town meeting? To get into, fire, police, board of health, all of that in detail, unless, Mike, you disagree with me.
I agree with you.
So I don't know, you're gonna give that some thought, or else you're gonna get, the town gets whatever it is, 30%, the schools get 70%, and it's gonna be straight line averages, so.
Thanks, Zach.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. I'm confident in Mike's ability to get this done. All right? Do we have any other comments or questions about logistics? Jack, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
Let me think. I agree with Zach in terms of there's a lot of ground for FinCom to cover between now and then, especially with not having seen anything on the 4 million budget now between, the warrant has to be posted by May 6th, like 7 days before.
Right.
So they have a week and a day to get through 3 whole budgets to get their recommendations in, and that includes not having the $4 and $6.5 million budgets available for the public hearing on Monday. I'm not loving how that's shaking out. That's more me as a resident, and a little bit on the moderator trying to protect the interests of the FinCom members and their time and effort.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jack.
That's it for me then.
All right.
All right, good night, guys.
All All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, anything else on logistics? You good? Does anybody have any other business not reasonably anticipated within 48 hours?
Should we be going to the special town
Special?
meeting articles? There's only a couple.
Do you want to go through the special town meeting articles? All right, we're going to go back to new business.
4 of them, FinCom didn't recommend, so we can probably.
Uh,
No, there's only 2 left.
Number 2 and 3.
No, I think that's the date today.
These,
Yeah.
these say we already voted on them.
Oh,
We haven't voted on the other, yeah.
This says we already voted on them, no?
No,
Oh,
that's
it's
today.
today's date,
Yeah.
oh, gotcha.
But the majority of them are not, no action, so.
Yeah, did we already do the no action ones?
No.
Okay, so. Yeah,
Because we did them all at once.
yeah, you did.
We did them, yeah, we ran through them all
Why is
at
it
once.
dated for today?
I was gonna say, I thought we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember,
Is it just number 2 and 3?
So, right now,
yeah, I remember voting on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, because we voted on number 8.
right,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And number 9.
And number 9, yeah.
All right.
Well, never mind.
Okay, done.
Just, you know, the date threw me off because it's today's date in here as it was voted,
Right.
so.
Right.
Usually
I don't
that's
remember
the
which
case when we
meeting
have
it
to
was,
vote.
but I know.
But I do remember we did the other ones
I know.
because we did them all at once. We were like, it's just no action on all these.
Yes, I just couldn't figure out which meeting it was at.
Is this like an Excel or something? I wonder if Excel just
Yeah.
plugged in today's, updated the date
Could've.
automatically.
yeah,
Yeah.
We probably did the April 1 meeting.
right.
Well, that's exciting. All right.
All right, well, we're gonna meet again next week, so we'll look
Wait a
through
minute.
this next week. All right? Sound good? We'll look through it next week. All right, do we need anything on a budget update? I feel like
We covered, I think, everything I have in my, the budget update,
Yeah.
Reed and Martin, if anyone is available, you know, next week. next
Cleanup
week.
day. May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
And we covered the ballot question on civil service, was just one other thing I was gonna add.
Okay. All right,
Was the only question on the ballot, Mike?
It is.
Okay.
okay.
There's 2
Oh, there's 2.
police
One for
and
police
fire.
and fire.
Okay.
And if you vote yes, it's to leave civil service. If you vote no, it's to stay in civil service.
Okay.
All right. Select board report and mail, I don't think we have anything there.
I approve the warrants as written and motion to adjourn.
All right.
That was quick.
Motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, before we adjourn, just a reminder, our next meeting will be on May 2nd, 2024, with a meeting to follow on May 9th, 2024. All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Denise?
Yes.
Alec?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
I am also a yes, and we will give the last yes to May Arts.
Yes.
All right, thanks, May.
Thanks, Meg.
Hopefully I'll see you guys on Saturday.
All right, we're adjourned.
Okay.